All right. Thanks for joining online and in person. Happy Friday. So yesterday, Jason babysat for me, and I'm pretty sure that he did some major gymnastics instruction while he was there or something, because I swear Ashton is like flipping himself over and like, I mean, he's got this army crawl thing where he like grabs onto anything and then he like is flipping, he's trying to flip from head to feet now and stuff. So I don't know what you did yesterday, but come and take it back. So that would be great. So Fridays, we love to start on our backs on Fridays. So, well, I don't know if you love to start on your back, but I love to start you on the back, and that's what matters. So come on down to your back, lay back, lie back. Stretch out or hug in. The risk of starting on our backs on Friday afternoon is, of course, never moving from our backs. But I promise you, I will do my best to lovingly and compassionately guide you from here to your feet eventually. But for now, just breathe. Just be right here in your body, in this time and space that you've set aside for your practice. And then just gradually start to bring your legs in a little closer to one another, still stretched out long. Reach down to catch hold of your left knee to draw it in toward your chest. Give a gentle squeeze over a little bit to the left. I'm not really sure what's happening out there. And then take the knee all the way across your body. So find a twist. Stretch your left arm out and away. And just notice if it became a little too challenging to keep your breath moving back out of the twist just a little bit. And then come back to center and keep that left leg drawn toward you. Just shift into a hamstring stretch. So slowly start to stretch your foot up toward the ceiling. Interlace your grip to the back of your hamstring or your calf so that you can leave your foot free to dance around a little bit. Just kind of circle the foot around in space. And then bend your right knee so that the right sole of your foot comes to rest on your mat. Cross the left ankle over top of your right thigh. Figure 4 hip opener. Now, if you would like to add it, you can rock a little bit right and left. You can see how that feels. You can keep your body still and you can kind of let your head move right and left. You might try each one of those, see if one or both resonate. I wouldn't suggest doing both at the same time. We could get a little wonky. And then do find stillness eventually and move your breath fairly vigorously. Take a very deep, deep breath in, clearing breath out. And then just return your right foot back down to your mat with your knee bent. Stretch your left leg all the way up. Take a deep inhale and then exhale it down to hover just above your mat. Press energetically out through the ball of your foot, splay your toes, and then relax your left leg down onto your mat. Take your arms alongside your ears. So you're taking a full body stretch down the left side of your body and through both arms. Breathe big. And then just reach down to interlace your hands around your right knee. Draw it toward your chest. And we'll move through that sequence on our second side. So move a little farther over to the right first. Give yourself lots of space through the rib cage to deepen your inhale. Then ease up on that compression as you pass your knee into your opposite hand and move into your spinal twist. All the way across, reach out through the right arm. And as you take another breath or two here in your spinal twist, just think of relinquishing the week that is behind you. Just kind of letting it go, just ungripping, or perhaps just loosening your grip if there's still a few details you need to hang on to. Come all the way back to center and find a hamstring stretch for your right leg. The interlace of your grip on your hamstring or your calf so that your foot's free to dance. Keep on circulating your breathing as you spin your foot around in each direction. And then bend your left knee, set your left sole of your foot onto the mat, cross your ankle into a figure four, and then pull the shape of your legs in toward you. Find the stretch through your right hip. And then add to that, if you want to, just a little side to side rocking or a rocking of your head. Keep on moving your breath fairly vigorously. And eventually come to that still point. All right, and we'll guide the left sole of our foot back down onto your mat. Untangle your right leg, reach it up high, nice and long, up through the ball of your foot. Breathe in, and then slowly lower your straightened leg down to hover for a moment. Push out through the ball of your foot, and then lower the leg all the way down as you stretch your arms up alongside your ears. Feel this down the right side of your body a little bit more. Big, broad breath in through the rib cage. Let it go. Now bend both knees, set both feet onto your mat. Lift up into a gentle bridge pose. So just take your hips up, activate the back line of your legs, inhabit your feet, spread out wide for the toes. Wobble the body weight just a little bit from side to side. And then lower your hips back down. Draw your knees in toward your chest, hands to the back of your hamstrings, a little bit of momentum to take you forward, just rocking your way to a seat. And then we'll set our feet to the mat, hands to the back of the hamstring, Navasana pose. So once you find your balance, start to lift your feet, play a little bit with separating the feet, maybe 2 or 3 inches apart, pushing out through the balls of your feet, Pada Bandha. Lift up tall through the crown of your head, close your eyes. Now, loosen your grip of your hands to your thighs. Start to hover them just out and away from the legs if you want to. You can certainly keep a touch to the back of the thighs if you prefer. Keep breathing. Now lift your right foot just a little higher than your left. I want you to crisscross your ankles right over left. Take them back. Lift the left foot a little higher, crisscross and back. And just go back and forth a couple of times. See if you stopped breathing, trying to coordinate your efforts here. Breathe again, if that's the case. Just one more little crisscross on each side. And big crisscross into a seated position. Sit up tall. You can keep your eyes closed for a few more moments. You can take your hands and give a little nourishing rub to the tops of your thighs and your hip flexors if you'd like to. And then just slide your hands into a restful place at the knees or into the lap. Feel your heartbeat starting to slow back down. Draw in a very slow and steady inhale. And let your breath out to a similar, if not longer, count. In through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. And then bring the palms of your hands to one another, starting with the base of the thumbs near the top of your breastbone. Take a deep clearing breath here in our seat. And then raise both hands high above your head on your inhale. Spread your arms out wide as you exhale. Drift your hands down low. Now gather the palms of the hands back in together at midline. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, open your arms out wide. Just kind of feel the air through your fingers one more time. And then draw your hands back in toward one another in Anjali Mudra. Take another slow and steady breath. And then take your time to transition to your hands and your knees, just coming to your tabletop. And just intentionally placing your hands today, you might consider turning the hands outward just a touch. Then start the process of awakening and warming the spine through some cat stretches, maybe rocking forward and backward a time or two to really lengthen the space, especially at the lumbar spine. Visiting child's pose if you'd like to. Coming into cow, stretching the heart space open, just move a little bit. And barrel rolls, of course, are available for you to take some movement through. And whenever you are ready to wiggle your way right on up into downward facing dog, we'll all meet there. Happy Friday! Another breath or two. And then just lift up and down on your toes a few times. Set your sights out in front of your hands, and then step or leap your feet forward. Find Ardha Uttanasana, your halfway lift and a breath in. Empty your breath out as you fold forward. Stand tall. When you are ready, raise your hands high overhead, and then draw your hands together, right down through heart center. Close your eyes there for just a few moments. Take the base of your thumbs toward the top of your breastbone once again. Then rock your body weight forward and backward, toes to heels, side to side, foot to foot. Widen your stance to a placement of your feet right beneath your hips, maybe even just a bit wider than that. Something that feels really good, strong, and stable for you today. Strengthen your legs, stand as tall as you possibly can. And then let your hands come down near your sides. Roll the thumbs outwards so the palms face forward toward the brick wall in front of you. Spread your arms out a little broader, a little wider. Now, big reach of our arms out and up. Thumb tips kiss together if possible. Might take a try or two. And then exhale and just lower your hands back down. Take an in breath. Reach up high. See if you can touch the tips of your thumbs together. And then exhale, hands come out wide. One more time. Reach up with your breath in. This time hinge at your hips. Exhale and dive forward. Relax your hands down heavy toward the floor, head down heavy to the floor. Shimmy your shoulders out. Just relax into the stretch. As much of a bend in your knees as you need to be there. One more very slow breath in. Completely empty your breath out. And then place your hands at the top of your mat. Step your feet back into plank pose. Press out into the full shape of this posture. Make your legs a little stronger, a little more active. Keep pushing away, hands down to your mat. And then let's lower down onto our knees. Lift your heart just a little higher, chin just a little higher. Deep breath in, wrap your arms in tight, and then exhale your way all the way down onto your abdomen. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down, take your hands out and forward, and then rise nice and slow, cobra pose. Lift up into it, take your breath in, bow forward as you breathe out. Twice more. And again. And then draw your hands back in. Retrace your steps here. Come up the way that you lowered. Lift your knees, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths there. Feel the activity in your hands, just as you did in plank. You're going to be just as active, just as strong, pressing down into your mat, but hopefully feeling a little bit more gentle on the wrist joints here in this position versus plank. Feel a good sense of balance between your feet behind you. Space them accordingly to raise your left leg high. Pause there. Stretch up, reach up high through the left foot. Feel the ball of your foot actively pushing, spreading your toes wide. One more inhale, exhale, and step your left foot forward between your hands. Come into lunge, low lunge with our hands still down on the ground. Just take your chest out a little farther forward in front of you. And then bring your back knee down. When you are ready, raise both hands high up toward the ceiling. Draw your breath in. As you exhale, find prana mudra. Reach high through your hands. Take an in-breath. Prana mudra once again. Exhale. And one more time. Breathe in. Lean back a little if you'd like. And then exhale. Reach up high. Inhale. Half splits as you breathe out. Good. Now, thinking of that position that we took our hamstring stretch on our back, I want you to take just a little bit of movement through your foot here in your half splits. You're going to kind of push the toes out, push them in, push them down toward the floor, flex them back up toward your face. And then you're going to just rock a little bit. So I like to call this the hokey pokey, where you keep the foot flexed, but you're just kind of turning toes in, toes out. Yeah. Then you're going to explore a little further. You're going to take hands over toward the left, toes out a little bit toward the left. Breathe into that. Good. And then you're going to do the reverse of this. You're going to walk your hands over toward the right. You're going to take your toes toward the right just a little. And then come back towards center. Work your way back toward lunge at the top of your mat. Tuck your back toes. Now place your right hand, work your left foot out just a little farther, and find your twist. Left hand goes high. Now, intentional placement of your right hand as your foundation. We're going to step back into side plank. Now, there's a couple of modifications. One can be the foot just stomping on the floor about halfway back, or you can bring the left foot back and drop your right knee low. Keep breathing. And then high plank or kneeling plank at center. Inhale, connecting vinyasa option here if you'd like to take it. Lower your way down, cobra or upward dog, and we'll meet in downward dog. Press out and forward through your hands. Press back and down through your heels. And then when you are ready, you're going to take your right leg up and back. Get your balance. Feel that energy stretching outward, upward. Breathe into it. One more inhale, and then step forward as you empty your breath out of your body. Nice. Stay low. Just come up onto your fingertips. Take your chest out in front of you, and then you're going to bring the back knee down. Go slow. Raise your hands high. Breathe in. Prana mudra, just a little different than our cactus. Our arms are forward slightly. Reach up, press a little bit into your front foot. Inhale, exhale your way to prana mudra. One more time. And then go high through your hands, rock your hips back as you exhale, bring your hands down toward the ground. Start at center, slow your breathing way down. And then just a little bit of movement through your foot. You can take some circles of your ankle like you did on your back. You can do the hokey pokey, toes in and out. Feel that rotation happen all the way up the length of your leg. So in order to turn your toes in and out, this has to happen at our hip joint. And then we bend our knee a little bit, work your hands over toward the right. They can come to the outside of the leg, they can not. I'm finding that my words are really failing me here on this Friday, so I do apologize. All right, so work your way over to the other side. This one's a little trickier. We turn the toes in just a little bit. We let our rump go out just a tad, and the hands over to the left. Then back to center. So move your way back toward lunge. Lift your back knee, move your foot over just a little to the right, and then stretch your right hand high. Enjoy that extra space that you have to breathe, to broaden your rib cage. And then we're just gonna start to transition. You can either take the foot halfway back and stomp down through the sole of your foot. You can stack a feet. You can drop your left knee. Side plank. More breath than that. I need more cowbell. More cowbell in the form of breath. All right, full plank or kneeling plank, back to center, breathe in and connecting vinyasa or downward facing dog. Your choice. We'll all meet there together. Child's pose to follow that. Hands forward or hands backward or arms crossed under your head. Take any variation. And then take quite a few breaths. And just take a few more breaths in your child's pose. And just thinking of relinquishing the week behind you. And then for this transition, keeping your eyes closed, make your way back to tabletop and then into downward facing dog. We are gonna work our hands backward toward our feet. Instead of bringing our feet forward, we'll bring our hands backward. Slide your feet in fairly close to one another. And then take your fingertips up to the top of your shins, lift your heart a little higher than your hips, take a breath in, and then come deeper into your stretch, breathe out. Bend your knees a little bit more, and then roll your way up to a stand. Let your shoulders be the last thing to lift and to loop back, and then lift your arms up alongside your ears. Take a breath in, lengthen all the way up through your fingertips. As you exhale, sit down and back into your chair pose. Even your body weight between your feet, you might have to shift it a little bit side to side in order to really find center. Take a deep inhale, prana mudra as you exhale. Now stand tall, breathe in, cactus your arms as you exhale, shine your palms forward. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, fold forward. Now find a half lift, draw your breath in, stay right there, breathe it out. Bring your body weight a little bit more into your right foot, and you're going to send your left leg back into a grounded warrior 3. Walk your hands forward as much as you need them to go so that you feel stable. Bend your right knee as much as you need it to be bent to feel stable as well. Draw one more inhale, and then knee to nose. Exhale, pull the left knee in, round your back into cat stretch. Press back, reach forward through your crown. Inhale. Exhale, knee toward nose again. Reach back, take a breath in. This time as you exhale, curl everything in as tight as you can, and then set your left sole of your foot back down next to your right. Relax into the stretch, relax your upper body, the weight of your head. And then take a nice slow roll once again to rise all the way up. Loop your shoulders back, lift your heart high, close your eyes there for a moment. Then when you're ready, inhale the arms up alongside your ears, exhale, cactus your arms. Now reach high through your hands. Sit back into your seat, back into your chair pose as you exhale. Bring your hands into hearts. Start to hover your left heel and then eventually your left leg. We're going to stand all the way up into our right foot. Lift your left leg high, lift your gaze a little bit. Breathe in, warrior 3, press back. Fill out the space. Center your hips. Dial in to the strength at your core, and then let your arms fly free. How would you like them to land? Outstretched, overhead, back a little bit. It's October now, so I can fully embrace the zombie arms. It feels kind of good. Just let your arms hang down if you'd like to. Shake your wrists out a little bit. And then eventually hands to heart. You're going to come all the way back up, retrace your steps, lift your left knee, flex your foot, figure 4. Cross your ankles, sit down low. Keep on breathing. Relax your jaw, lift your heart, lift your gaze, sit your tush back, back, back. Breathe. To exit this shape, we're going to cross our feet. So you're just going to set your foot down, hands to hips, lift your heart high, breathe in. Pull your hip creases way back as you fold forward. Hands eventually come down toward the floor. Relax your head. Slight tuck of your chin toward your chest. And then you are welcome to walk your hands over to one side or the other. One side and the other, I should say. Both feel equally good, just different. Okay, hang with me here. You're going to walk your hands forward a little bit. You're going to put most of your body weight into your left hands. Your right foot, the back foot, is going to release, stretch up, stretch out, just decompress into half moon. And if you want to lift your right hand, you certainly can. And then we'll bring it all the way back down. Yes, you'll be standing near the edge of your mat, and that's just fine. Roll your way up. Whew. Close your eyes, shake it, shimmy it, whatever you need to do to shake loose, let go. Walk your way back toward the center of your mat. Toes, heels, stand tall. Let's see if I can remember all of that to do it on the second side. Chair pose, hands high overhead. It's a tricky, tricky thing. Inhale, prana mudra, exhale. Reach all the way up, breathe in. Cactus your arms, breathe it out. Reach up, inhale, fold forward, exhale. A little half lift as you draw your breath in. Stay lifted, breathe it out. Body weight moves into your left foot, and you're going to send your right leg back into a grounded warrior 3. Breathe into that, fill it out. knowing those options that you have available. Left knee can bend a little bit if the ground feels too far away. Breathe in, and then knee to nose. Exhale, cat stretch, round everything and tuck in tight. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, knee in. One more time. On that third round, you're gonna hug in really tight and then set your foot down next to your left. Take a nice slow roll up, up, up. Loop your shoulders back, lift your arms skyward. Take an inhale, sit down into your chair. Exhale. You're gonna guide the hands into hearts. And then we're gonna shift our body weight over into our left foot. And as you start to stand, you're offloading your leg, you're standing tall, lifting your right thigh. Yeah, good. Find your breath, find your balance. Transition to warrior 3. Push your leg back, back, back in space. Square your hips. Find that activity through your right foot flying behind you. Then when you are ready, add the arms. Take a mudra, an expression of your choosing. Zombie it up if you'd like. Gradually, hands back into heart. Transition to your standing balance pose once again. Oh, we got this. Cross your ankle. Sit down into your chair. Figure 4, hip stretch. And then your release will be just to sit this foot down and over, crisscross through your feet, hands to your hips, stand tall, breathe in, and you're using your fingers to guide the hip creases way back and up as you fold over your legs, hands to the floor. Head pretty heavy, slight tuck of your chin to your chest. Hands over in one direction and then the other. And as you come back to center with a pretty generous bend in both knees, you're going to set your right hand slightly out in front of you and to the right. Untangle your left leg back behind you. Just decompress. And then you can, if you'd like, take your left hand up and away. All right, bring it all back in. Just set your feet down together. Roll your way up to a stand. Shimmy it out, wiggle it out, shake it out. Breathe it out. Heave your shoulders a couple of times. You can shake your hands, whatever you need to do. And just work your way to a point where your feet are now moving toward the width of the top of your mat. And then take an inhale, hands high overhead. As you exhale, you can do this with your eyes closed if you'd like. Just kind of move slowly down into Malasana. Hips way, way back, hands out in front of you to counterbalance. And then eventually finding your place. Good. And then release your hips up, leave your hands low, parallel your feet, pinky toes toward the edges of your mat. Grasp opposite forearms. Let your upper body go right and left a couple of times. All right, and from here, we're gonna place our hands to the top of our mat, move your feet back in closer together, and a little play with our crow pose. Raise up toward the balls of your feet, take your knees out wide. You're gonna get down pretty low, slide your legs into place. Take a little shift of your body weight, lots of activity through your feet, squeezing in toward one another. And then just a gentle step back into downward facing dog from there. Work your feet out really wide toward the edges of your mat here in downward dog. And you're gonna raise up toward your toes, angle both heels over to the right, and then press them down and over. Heels down and over, hips move back toward midline just a little bit. And then release from that, move back through center, send your heels to the left, press them down and over, and bring your hips back toward midline. You'll probably find that there's a difference between your sides. And then come back in to center. Slide your feet back just a little bit, glide forward into a high plank position, and then lower down all the way to your abdomen. Untuck your toes once again. Find that cobra-like energy about halfway up, and then lift your legs as well. Locust pose, you can hover your hands. You can extend your arms forward in front of you. Or you can take your arms out to a T or hands back alongside your hips. Now from here, we're gonna move right into our chest stretch. So lower just a little bit, stretch your arm out, and then roll in that direction. Set your left foot down toward the floor. Reach your left hand up high, and then allow the arm to fall back. Focus on this open arm stretch first, before choosing any other option, such as a bind or a quad stretch. Then, of course, do what your body is calling for with those other variations. When you are ready, roll your way back to center. Give yourself a second. And then move into your second side. Left arm comes out to a T. Palm against the floor. Roll in that direction. Take it slow and gentle. Good. Enjoy that open arm, and then decide if taking a half bind or a quad stretch would feel really great for your body tonight. Just continue to move your breath. And come back to center. When you're ready, transition from your abdomen all the way back into child's pose. Reach your hands really far out in front of you. And then just take your left hand over top of your right. And then switch that up. Take your left hand to the mat, right hand comes over top of the left. And back to center. Slide your way to a tabletop and to downward dog. Bring your left leg all the way through for pigeon pose. And we'll just come to that upright position first, just working your hands back, lifting your heart a little higher. And then settle in a little deeper. Bring your upper body forward, bring your hands forward as well. We're gonna bring both hands over a little farther to the right, just kind of walk them in that direction. You can turn and look past your right shoulder behind you if that's a natural gaze. And then you're gonna work your way over in the other direction, just hands over a little bit toward the left. Push into your fingertips or your palms. You can turn and look past your left shoulder. And then as you come back to center, you're coming all the way down. I invite you to come onto your forearms and just pause there for a moment, just pressing down through the forearms. And then option to take a low quad stretch today. So your left forearm is going to be a base for you. You can bend the right knee and then reach back and see if you can grab your foot or your heel. Now, if you can't quite get to it, you can press into the palm of the hand, make good contact, then lower back down onto your forearm. And then just make sure your breath doesn't get stuck. If you've got that quad stretch, do release it and come all the way down to rest in your sleeping pigeon pose. And start to make your way back up to your hands. Now we're going to turn our bodies here just a little bit. So you're going to turn toward your back leg. You're going to slide the foot in, close the gap so that the sole of your left foot comes right into the inner thigh of your right leg. So you'll be turning a little bit toward the back of your mat. Then decompress there. Take your left hand to the floor behind your hip. Lift your hips high. Reach up and back. Close your fist into hand into a fist. That's what I was looking for. Give your wrist a little circle and then reseat your hips. Switch it up. Take the right hand down low, left hand up high, deep inhale, and then stretch out over your leg. And then just incrementally coming into that stretch, you can stretch both hands to your foot. You can round the spine a little bit or stretch your chest out toward your toes. Eventually finding that still point. And to encourage a little more stillness in our minds, we move our breath. Good. Come all the way gradually back up. You're going to turn back toward the top of your mat. Send your left leg up and back behind you. Simply decompress that leg, shake it out. You can roll the hip open, you can flip your dog, whatever you are wanting to do here. But eventually, just land in downward facing dog at center. Walk your dog out, sway your hips, move your breath, and draw your right leg all the way through for your second side. Take that opportunity to lift up, to breathe in, acknowledge how our minds work on that second side. We're like, oh yeah, and we really want to get to that juicy part. Come forward just a little bit. We're going to go left first. So both hands move over to the left. Take a glance back. Then off toward the right. And then as we come back to center, we can get in a little lower, moving down onto the forearms. And just kind of test the waters. The right forearm's at a diagonal. You can bend your knee. If the foot's there, great. If it's not, you have a little press point and you can get better contact and then move back down onto your forearm if you'd like to. If you are in that quad stretch, take another breath or two. And then just make sure to set aside a little time to come down into a more restful position. Gradually, when you are ready, move back to your hands, and you're just gonna kind of take a little shift of your seat so that you turn toward the back of your mat, left leg out long. Right hand's gonna be your anchor point so that you can lift your hips up and decompress. Push away from the floor. Close the fist, circle the wrist of that lifted hand, and then reseat your hips down. Sweep in the opposite direction. Take your right arm up high. Breathe in and then stretch out over your left leg. Just incrementally moving a little deeper. Gradually make your way back up. Turn one more time toward the top of your mat and then untangle your right leg in downward dog. Decompress, flip your dog, do whatever your heart is calling for. And then finally, just another breath or two in downward facing dog. We will lower down onto our knees, and then I'll offer you quite a few options here for a quad stretch. So you can simply sit hips back to heels. If you want to add a stretch of your feet, you can certainly curl your toes under and focus on that today. If you want to move in a little farther, knees stay fairly close, the heels go out a little wider, and we start to sit our bottom down between our feet. Block can go right under the sacrum, the tailbone on this variation. Sitting up tall, or eventually kind of working your way back and finding that forearm theme once again. Press down, lift your hips just a little bit, open through the throat. Nothing says you got to get to this point. And if you are craving a little deeper, you can move on down onto your back. That is not really a healthy option for me to demonstrate today. But do find a place that you can relax enough that you can slow your breathing, that you can really drop into the sensations of your body, and know your limits, know your boundaries. Stay as long as feels safe. And when it doesn't, you're going to lift, you're going to decompress and tabletop, and we're all going to meet on our backs when you're ready to get there. No rush. And we land on our backs where we began. Just stretch out, relax your legs. Feel the effects of your practice here for a moment. Rest your bones. And then when you're ready, bring your left knee in toward your chest. Then just stir your knee around a few times. Go in each direction. See how that feels for your ball and socket joint of your hip. Land back at center. And then start to extend your leg up into that hamstring stretch that you took. Pass the leg into your left hand so you can take it to the outside of the calf or the foot itself. Start to open your leg all the way out wide. If it feels inviting, you can outstretch the right arm just away in the opposite direction. Or place the palm of your right hand onto the front of your hip. And then re-bend your knee, bring it back to center, opposite hand to knee. You're gonna once again take those circles, just kind of move your leg around, but this time with your left arm outstretched out to a T. And then as you're ready, you're gonna move right into your spinal twist. Option to keep that bent knee, or option to extend the leg and grab hold of your big toe. A little more breath. Roll back to center. Release your left leg out long next to your right. Giant breath in. Empty it out. Let it fall out. Then your right knee toward your chest. Just a big circling movement through the hip. Using both hands, just passing the knee around and around. Letting your body kind of rock with it a little. Breathing, and then stretching up into your hamstring stretch. You're going to give your leg to your right hands and bring it all the way over to the right. Left arm comes out and away, or palm to the hip. Just focus on a slow inhale and a slow exhale. And letting go of where you can let go. And gently rebend your knee. Bring the leg back to center. You're going to take opposite hand to knee, right arm out to a T. Take just a few more of those circles, just around and around. And then just guide the knee across for spinal twist. You can keep that bent knee, or you can grab your big toe and kick the leg out straight. Just a little more breath. A little more time. And then back to center. Isn't that a great desire for life? Just a little more breath and a little more time. Stretch your right leg out long next to your left. Take a few moments to decide if you are content, fulfilled, balanced, and ready for Shavasana or a seated meditation. Please dive right in. If there's anything else that you need, don't hesitate to include those movements into your practice, whatever it may be. Allow your breath to come as it is. Acknowledge your mind state here and now. And just see if you could wholeheartedly and lovingly accept who you are and how your mind works, just as you are, knowing that that love and acceptance doesn't hinder you from continuing to evolve, to grow, to expand. So with that knowing, begin to expand your breathing a little deeper. Begin to reawaken some movement into your fingers, your toes. And then before you move from this place, just allow your head to gently turn a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, to turn a little farther to the right and pause there. As you tuck your chin down a bit more toward your right shoulder, think of placing more of your left shoulder blade down onto your mat and breathe deeply. And then bring your gaze over to the left. Tuck the chin down a little bit toward the left shoulder. Put more of your right shoulder blade onto the mat. Breathe. Come back to center. At your pace, your path. Make your way to your seat, nice and slow. Feel free to keep your eyes closed a few more moments as you make this transition. Taking in your surroundings through all of your other senses. And then once you do come to your seat, just place your hands to your knees or your thighs again. You can even take that kind of nourishing movement of the hands just kind of across the hip flexors and across the quads and the inner thighs. And then just rest your hands, rest the weight of your hands down. Lift the energy up through the top of your head and allow your shoulders to release downward. Breathe deeply, breathe easy. And then guide your hands to one another in Anjali Mudra. Bring in a very deep, deep breath. Let it go. And just do that twice more. Relinquish everything you can with this next exhale. Then bring the base of your thumbs to your third eye space, the gentle bow of our head, honoring and acknowledging this practice that we share with one another, that we hold so dear to our heart. Thank you so very much for trusting me as your teacher this evening. Namaste. Thank you. Happy Friday again. Enjoy your Friday evening. Hope to see you guys again soon. For anyone that wants to stick around, let me just check. Sweet. Anyone that wants to stick around and meet my little guy is going to be here in a few minutes in bike trailer. So you're welcome to say hello. Brian's like, I'll send you a text so you can tell the ladies if they want to stick around. And Jason, of course. Though I don't know if I'm going to allow you. Thanks for joining online, everyone. See you next time. Well, so you must break dance because literally